What's up, studs? This is Ryan Weber on Big Stud Sales Podcast. That actually sounded kind of good.
I mean, that might be the best intro we've had to date.
I'm going to have a new radio voice every single episode.
I think it's great.
Okay, let's move on.
Not the whole episode, though. No, just the intro. Just the intro.
It takes a lot of energy.
What's up, studs and studettes? I'll be the same old Mike as you're used to because I don't have that much creativity in my body. But we hear a lot of people that we deal with, I mean, Ryan more than I do for the most part, but trying to figure out the ads and the special offers. And, you know, ultimately what you're trying to do is you're trying to entice somebody to make a decision. Call to action, downloadable, give me your email address, buy now, get a discount, whatever it is that you're trying to offer. And what we're going to talk about today is not just ads, but the actual special offer, like how to formulate, we'll maybe call it an equation, but some sort of a structure to
getting somebody to take action is really what we're trying to figure out, because you as a business owner, you want the potential client to do something. They need to take the next step forward. You're not going to go out to them and be like, you're giving me your money. They're going to have to take some sort of action to either call you, visit your website, download something, purchase something, you know, whatever that next step is. So we've got to figure out as business owners how to move them down. It's called the client pipeline, you know, the client journey. Their journey goes from, I don't know that you exist, to then I'm considering making this purchase of whatever it is. Then I'm considering you, business owner, and then I'm actually doing that. And that's just to get them to make that initial yes, you know. And then from there, you've got the whole client experience journey. Then you've got the whole referral network journey and, you know, recurring client journey. But the initial client journey of, I don't know that you exist, into I want to make some sort of,
next step.
Yeah, I want to take the next step.
I'm going to engage some way, shape, or form. Like last month, we talked a lot about, you know, if you missed the series on how to be known, liked, and trusted, which we both agree is the only equation to get someone to actually give you money. They got to know you, they got to like you, and they got to trust you. But in this perspective is going to be a little bit more tactical in the grand schemes of, like,
so get out your pen and paper, pull over to the side of the road, and get ready.
I can't take the voices.
It's probably because we haven't had lunch yet. So
that's fair. Yeah, I'm a little hangry, but seriously, there is a formula. Like, it's not just, you know, marketers. I'm gonna let you kind of lead most of this because you kind of do it every day, but it isn't like just pulled out of their ass. Yeah. Like, there's a structure on how people engage with different types of content. But I think the first thing, and I say this, it's like the first part of my process. You got to identify who you want. Mm-hmm. Right. I mean, if you don't know what your audience looks like, the avatar or the lookalike audience of what you think you want to put your message in front of, it's incredibly difficult to articulate the message that Ryan's going to describe to you in a second.
2 questions I ask every single person when getting started. Who are you trying to reach? Like, who is the perfect person to then? The second question is, do this. What do you want that person to do? What is a success for you? Sometimes the success might just be to click on your website.
Listen to a podcast.
You know, sometimes the success is, well, they're going to purchase. But before they purchase, there's multiple steps. So that's why I always got to say, based on, you know, this target client, what is a win for this advertising campaign that we're trying to do? So kind of getting started, you've got to identify that. To identify that, the next step is to say, well, I need to make them aware that I exist in business. And that's kind of the brand awareness aspect of it. When you're doing that, the best way to do that is through either one of 2 things. Well, actually, it's really just one thing, but you can do it in multiple different ways. You have to get their emotions involved. And that's through either like very funny entertainment. So you're pulling on these emotions, humor, sadness, fear. All of these are emotions that really grab people's attention, because that's what you need to do right at the beginning. You can grab their attention.
And by grabbing their attention, and correct me if I'm wrong, but you're trying to pull somebody from their current state into a new state that they want to be in. And that bridge is the emotion that you're trying to play on. Like, they're trying to get away from
probably
fear.
One of the best ever is it's not funny, but like the cats of the Humane Society when they play Sarah McLachlan. But I mean, emotionally, you watch that and you're like, man, I want to go buy one of these cats for $1 a day.
Yeah, I mean, it's the emotion you need to focus on is getting them from one place to another.
And it depends on who your target client is. Yeah. I'll speak from the law firm, from a closing on a house perspective. A lot of you guys are in this consumer remodeling or whatever industry, so you kind of understand the home closing process. Like, that's very dull, dry, boring. Well, these guys, their whole marketing strategy is to target realtors who have to sit in hundreds of dull, boring closings, and they do it through fun. So they try and bring a lot of humor into it. And so all of our initial advertising stuff is very funny. It's this or that type stuff. It's little game shows. It's stuff like that to try and get attention, to let them know, like, hey, we're the fun law firm.
But the next step that you're driving to is not come bring your clients here. It's
not yet.
You're just trying to get them to take the next step of showing interest, being engaged.
The next step on that one is to follow us.
Right.
Follow our page, because we're going to give you tips and tricks, but it's going to be a lot more fun than anybody else.
Right.
So we want.
I just want to point out, like, the next step isn't always buy now.
Nope, not that one.
Yeah.
And so we'll continue down that journey now that they've said, "Oh, I like that law firm. I know they exist. I want to now consider them. I'm considering taking my clients there." And so through that consideration phase, your call to action may be to visit your website because you have a blog post that's giving them 5 tips of how to close on their house quicker. 5 things you don't want to forget when you're showing up to the closing day. All these little things, from a roofing industry, it could be 5 things you need to have ready to send to your insurance company. So you can go read that blog post. So your next action is to then take them down and provide some sort of value that they're seeking. So the best way to explain it is to say, I have this immediate problem. How can you give me a small, simple win right now? So for your clients, it's like, if you're putting out something that is very specific, say this episode, how to craft a advertising campaign, you would give them one specific thing. It's like, go do this and do these 3 next steps. And you can get this by going to my blog post or listening to this podcast. And so our call to action was to get them to go to a podcast. And so that's kind of the next step to this, of taking them down an advertising or an offer journey, is to, once again, it's not always to make a sale. It's to move them through that client acquisition, that customer journey of saying, I like these people. I now trust them a little bit, so I'm following them along. And kind of...
It's called a lead magnet for a reason.
Yeah,
it draws somebody in to take an action. So what he's talking about is a free resource option. It could be a PDF, a file, a YouTube video. It could be something on your website. It could be a private Facebook group.
Typically on this, I like to drive them to something where I'm able to collect some sort of information. So if you
data collection is king.
This is it. This next stage is to be able to it's called retargeting. How can I retarget them? And this is on the internet. So this, if you're not on the internet on this one, this could be you're sending out mailers and they have to fill out their contact information to then get the coupon that you're offering at the end, or to get the free 1 month service of your termite inspection, or your.
It could just be they have to email you.
Yeah, something to get.
Let's say you do send out mailers or door hangers, and for them to get the deal on the offer,
they have to give you something.
They have to give you something. It could just be email here, and now you collect their email address and their name, and now you can retarget them later with additional
marketing terminology. We call this an ethical bribe. I'm bribing you.
I've actually never heard that before.
Yeah, I'm bribing you to give me your contact information, but I'm giving you something. It's ethical. So an ethical bribe to give get your contact information. Mm-hmm. So yes, your goal of that is to data collect. I would love to get a name, email, phone number, but not all the time I need to do that. If you have a Facebook pixel that allows you to track, it puts it's called a cookie. It sticks on your profile. It follows you around.
You just blew somebody's mind.
Yeah, this is way over most of your heads,
yeah.
But sometimes you can just drive traffic to your website, and then it data collects from that. So That's why your next step needs to be some sort of download this guide, watch my free webinar. You have to give me your contact information to get that. And then the last part, this is the hardest part. This is what most people think of when they're thinking of advertising, is that offer. Like, what do I want them to do to say, I've raised my hand, I want to work with you. This is what you need to do next to work with me. And a lot of people go wrong with, they don't offer anything. And they're like, well, why is my ad suck? Well, you're offering the same exact thing you offer every single day. So,
and you only talk about yourself.
You only talk about yourself, but there's no urgency. I have no reason to say, holy shit, I need to do that today because I can't miss this offer.
And is it just...
So for you, you have an offer of free 30-minute phone call, right? That's all the time. Anybody can call and get a free 30-minute phone call right now. So if we ran an ad right now for a free 30-minute phone call, you won't have as good results.
Because it's the same thing they get normally.
Why would I take action?
But sometimes it's not just the offer. Sometimes it's scarcity, right? It could be like there's, for the next 10 people.
Right.
And it could be time domain for the next...
For the remainder of the month.
Yeah, or the rest of today. Like, I mean, depending on what you sell or the product is create scarcity or create some sort of time domain that drives it. Because people suck at making decisions. Mm-hmm. There are people that like...
And they only want deals, and that's the thing.
But I'll use my mastermind. Like, I came up with the mastermind idea. I presented it. 3 weeks later, we started it. And I probably had 10 people say, man, I wanted to do that, but I didn't decide fast enough. And it's like...
Sorry.
It was a really easy decision. It was $97 a month for 4 calls, video, live chat with me,
for months,
and access to the replay.
Yeah.
And it's like, you couldn't decide on that?
Yep.
But you're DMing me later saying, I wish I would have gotten in. Can I still get in? Like, unfortunately, I locked it down to the first 12
people. But now what you've done is created that scarcity.
Correct.
So now next time when you offer it again, you say, hey, look, I'm only offering this to 15 people. You 15 people that I collected your information from, do you want in? Now I only have 4 spots available.
Right.
So you don't have to always discount your product. And that's where a lot of people think, well, I got to run a buy one, get one free. Now that is a way, and it works really well.
But then they're waiting on the next one.
Right.
You hit lulls in the middle because if you're like, let's just say every month you're at the end of the month, you're like, shit, we need sales. Let's offer a deal. Your clients are smart.
Yeah.
They'll wait for that next deal because they know you're going to give one.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like that's where like a lot of like appliance and furniture stores like have to run Memorial Day, Labor Day, America Day, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Like they have to run deals because people are accustomed to that being so I agree. You should not discount your product. I prefer like a value add.
Yeah. So I call it value stacking, value add, I was actually talking to the gym down the road and we were trying to come up with offers because we're going to run an ad once, Corona quarantine is done. Mm-hmm. What's going to happen? Well, people are going to come out of the woodwork and be like, I need all social things. Well, a gym that prides itself on community and social events, they should crush it.
Well, on top of the fact that everybody's going to be fat and miserable because they've been eating all their quarantine snacks.
Yeah. They're eating all their toilet paper. Like they bought all of the toilet paper and they're literally eating it all now. So,
but you have to have some sort of value stack. It can't just be, I'm giving you 10% off this month. It's, hey, you're going to pay full price, but that's the value stack.
Yeah. So we're talking about, hey, instead of discounting your price, you're going to pay full price. You're going to get personal training. Our normal personal training, I don't know what it is. Let's say $300 per month. What you're going to get on your first month, I'm going to go and give you a written meal plan. And we're going to write out exactly what you're supposed to have every single week. But on top of that, I'm also going to go over to this meal company, and I'm going to put a credit in your account for you to go get 15 meals. So you can have 3 meals a day for your first week with me. And so now that cost to them, maybe $120. I don't know what the meal is for that. It's probably somewhere around there. $120 to acquire a client that's now $300 a month, multiple months over and over and over again.
Yeah, I mean,
and they didn't.
If you retain them for one additional month than you would have without it,
they've already made their money in the first month.
Yeah, it's a 3x ROI.
Yeah. So thinking about outside of the box, how can you do it faster? How can you do it better? How can you add things to what you currently offer to make it more enticing? How can you offer scarcity? How can you offer, like
deadlines or
time. All of those are really, really crafty ways to make an offer and make an ad effective. it can't be the same thing that you do every single day.
And the reason is that consumers feel, and honestly, I think at this point are entitled to feel like they're winning. Like
they want to win, and they're emotional purchasers.
And they want to be able to say, I got the better deal on that, or I got more than you did, or like they want their, it's incredibly, it's not competitive marketplace. It's consumers are competitive. Like they want to say, I got better, or I did more, or I got faster, or I got more for my money, or I paid less, or whatever it is. But if you're not offering them something if you're offering them, like Brian said, something they can always get, there's no appeal.
And another good way or good thing to do, and this is if you offer a real service that's like a monthly service, or something that it's not like a one-time thing. This isn't something you can do for the remodels.
Yeah.
But you can go in and it's a demo. People test drive cars for a reason. Once they test drive the car, there's a huge percentage. It's like
it's like take it home for the weekend. I'm sure that drives it up.
89% of people that test drive the car purchase it. So if you have some sort of service that's monthly and ongoing, and you can wow them with your experience, let them try before they buy. And that's another way to do offers. I'm talking to the gym. Like, you have a program you're literally getting ready to start in a boot camp. Well, it's not your normal CrossFit offering. Let them try boot camp for 14 days for free. And that's now your lead in to say, if you want to get started in boot camp, try it for 14 days for free. During that 14 days, if you want to go into CrossFit, you can pay for CrossFit. At the end of 14 days, if you like boot camp, you can continue paying for boot camp. If you don't want to do the 14-day free trial, you can just get started in CrossFit. So say you're a landscaper, go over and offer to, not necessarily, you don't have to mow the lawn, be like, hey, I just want to trim. Can I do all the trimming and edging for you? I'm not going to cut the lawn. That's what we offer as a service, but I'll just go around and trim and edge your entire yard. That way, when you mow the lawn yourself, it's already done for you. And that's something that doesn't take very long. It's going to offer a ton of goodwill. And they're going to say, well, why don't you just mow the lawn? Oh, it's only, it'll only be $25.
Well, let's just use a remodeler as an example. Like, it's more difficult, but you can say, like, hey, anybody who signs a contract in the next month gets an oven or a TV or an outdoor fireplace or some sort of maybe, service for a year. Like, there's always something you can give that it does not include a discount.
And I'm sure there's some sort of demo try before you buy option as a remodeler you can creatively come up with.
I mean, the most extreme would be like have some sort of a in-house design center / showroom. I mean, that would be like a very expensive way to be different. But if you're a design build firm and you don't have a quasi design center, that's difficult. Like, that's gonna be difficult because people want to have that safe place to go look at all things or meet with somebody one-on-one at that level. If you're doing multiple 6-figure projects, you need a little bit more of a white glove service. So saying, hey, the next 10 people that register get free 2 hours with one of our interior designers. I mean, like, that's huge.
And then you can start value stacking and say, this is an X dollar amount value.
You don't even need to do it out of your own pocket. You could say, hey, local interior designer that we refer work to a lot, hey, are you willing to dedicate 20 hours so we both win? So it doesn't actually come out of you. Like, be creative.
And this is why, like, Mike and I's normal offering is a free 30-minute phone call for help. I call it a free help call. Yeah. Like, you literally call me. I don't sell you on anything. I actually, during these phone calls, have every single person for the past 6 months have said, well, can you tell me what you offer? I'm like, no, I just want to help you. But now that you asked, sure, I'll tell you what I offer you, and I'll tell you pricing and all that. But I don't sell.
Not the intent of the call.
No, I'm not going to.
I'm the same way.
I don't tell them a single thing of what I do unless they ask.
Yep.
But my goal is to help them. And so now when they see that value and I follow back up a week or two later and say, hey, did you do that thing that I said? How'd it work out for you? That's awesome. I really like that. And now I'd like to learn more about your business.
And that's a valuable touch compared to buy now, buy now, buy now.
Right.
I hate those car commercials. Like, it makes me not want to buy from them.
Right.
But like see, what you're doing is a value-added addition to their ecosystem. The buy now, discount now, Labor Day this, you're typically but you're typically also a distraction. You're putting in front of them in a way that distracts them from what they're intending to do with their device or their radio or their TV. Like, commercials at this point in our the way the market works, are distractions. It's not wanted.
Right.
So the buy-in, the whole reason for this conversation gets them to buy at the top of the funnel, because then they're marking themselves, the retargeting side of saying, hey, I do have some sort of an interest in whatever product or service you're selling, which means when you do reach back out to them, they have an incredibly higher propensity to absorb whatever you're giving them.
And, just another quick example of how this, like, try before you buy. I got 2 clients because I was doing a video vlog, vlogging my day, and made some cool little shots of their product and tagged them in it on social media.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't trying to do anything other than make content for myself, but they saw
it was just something you used anyway.
I
and
used their product,
Yep.
and then they reached out and said, hey, could you do X videos for me? And so it's kind of that, well, if I'm a contractor and I do a review about one of these, one of the products that I use, maybe that person that sells that product or that company that sells that product wants to do collaborations or discounts or refer business to me. You've got to creatively come outside of what you normally do, and you can have a huge, huge benefit by literally just doing things for other people that's actually helping yourself out at the same time.
And I would say, let's take the last 60 to 90 days out of this statement. But in general, value add is more valuable to the average consumer than a discount.
Yes.
They want to feel like they're getting more for their money, not they're just spending a little less
Well, it
than
also
what you
helps
normally would
your
charge.
business big time.
Yeah, because you're not cutting profits.
Right.
Because anytime you give a discount, it doesn't cost less to deliver that product or service. Right. You're costing yourself money.
I'd rather increase my client acquisition cost by throwing in some quote unquote freebies than discounting my typical day-to-day service.
Because ultimately, specifically in the home service world, if you get that person who's very interested, bond at the top, call to action, next step, add some value, next step, add some value, don't discount your service, but make it better, then you can market that. But then also you have to think of the lifetime value of that client as a referral partner as well, because they each have neighbors. They each work with somebody. Like for me, I've always looked at it as one remodel was really worth like 2.3 or 2.4 remodels, which is why I treated every client so importantly, because they were that important. I don't care if it was only a $10,000 remodel. If they referred me to 2.4 other people, what's my average project?
Right.
And that's where I think a lot of people miss, in that you can say, hey, this additional value add piece, whatever it is. Like for me, for a long time, I offered free whole home cleaning at the end of every project. Like it was a really easy. I paid someone like $200 or $300 to go in post construction. It was part of, but then I could market to that.
And then they probably gave you a deal because they're getting a ton of business from you guys.
Right.
So you got it at 20% discount from what they would have normally paid or whatever that discount was.
But anyway, it gave me something to market. The
Right.
call to action is, hey, the next 10 people who sign a contract with us, the next 5 people get a free whole home deep clean at the end of the project.
Yep. It's something that no one else is doing.
It's not very many people are at least marketing about it.
Right.
You know, maybe they're doing it.
It's
but
a differentiator.
It's absolutely a differentiator.
Great job, man.
That was a good one.
Yeah.
As always, if you have questions, I mean, I'd like to hear from more of the audience. I mean, we will run out of content probably in the next 10 to 20 years because we can talk a lot, but we want to make it more relevant to what you guys want to hear about. And I mean, obviously ads and getting in front of people is a big thing right now, and we need to be doing that consistently. But what else do you guys want to hear about? I mean, DM me at WinRate Consulting, Ryan's at Ryan Weber LKN, email me, Mike at bigstudsales.com, and let us know what you think. Let us know what you want to hear about. Let us know what you want to hear our opinions on.
Don't forget to give us a review on iTunes. We have no new reviews since last time, so go to iTunes, leave us a review, preferably 5 stars. I'm only reading 5 stars. I'd actually like to read if you hate our podcast and give us a less than 5 stars, I'm going to read that too.
I just want to know.
I want to know.
But guys, as always, we appreciate the stud and studettes who consistently listen, like, and share what we have to put out. This has been a lot of fun, kind of growing this over the last 6 months now almost.
Yeah, we're there.
That's awesome.
The movement is strong, people. Keep it up.
Appreciate everybody.
See you.